Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today we're going to ask the question, does 8 DACs sound better than 1? So this is the topping D70 Octo. It basically has 8 Circus Logic DACs in one. And then this right here is the ES Saber ES9038, which is the flagship DAC. And it's only one DAC. And we're just going to compare, does 8 DACs actually sound better than 1? And yeah, I was kind of curious about this myself. That's why I asked APOS to actually send this out so I can actually do this comparison. And it's also worth noting that Topping actually makes another DAC with the same exact setup and case, but it has a Saber DAC inside of it. So it'll be interesting to see how the Octo kind of stands up. So this Topping also comes with some upgrades over their previous DACs. So Topping has a new colored screen they're using on this. The screen is a lot more colorful than the previous rendition, and it's very sharp, very clean, and it's honestly a beautiful looking screen. It's a lot better than their kind of monochromatic, like black and white type of screen that they have in the Topping D90. So this is definitely an upgrade. And then the usability factor as well, I like it a lot better on this. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump into the details. All right, so we have the Octo here. If I play a song, you can actually see the screen light up. It shows you all the different frequencies you're playing. You can see this is a very colorful, very kind of accurate type of screen. It's very sharp and everything. So the contrast and the legibility is also like top notch. So this is a high quality screen you're getting on this, a lot better, like I said, than the prior type of stuff they've had. And you know, it's a cool screen that you can see. Now you can tap the home button and cycle through the different looks. And you can even go for a little bit more old school type of one. So definitely a cooler type of DAC that I've seen on the market. Now you can also change your inputs right here, and you can cycle through different inputs, as well as you have actually an input screen to change your options. So they didn't have this before. It was as easily accessible on the type of flagship DAC they had. And here you can change like your filters, you can change like your DAC mode, you can change the output level. So you can change a lot of things. And you can just simply hit the home screen to go back to the home screen. So usability wise, this is really, really good. And then over here, we have obviously a volume dial if you want to put it in DAC mode and kind of adjust that. So pretty simple stuff, honestly. Take a look at the back of the device. You kind of have your standard inputs, so your XLRs, RCAs, and everything else. So really pretty standard layout. So overall, the build of this is, a metal chassis. It's very nicely designed, machined very well. I like it. I mean, I guess you can get your fingerprints on it, but it's pretty kind of typical for all these kind of DACs made by, Topping. They're all kind of made the same, very well built. Now, when it comes to kind of the specs, like I said, there's 8 different DAC chips for Circus Logic in here. You have Bluetooth 5.1 in here, and this is a fully balanced DAC. So you're getting all the benefits of balance in here. And of course it has, volume dial, so you could use it as a preamplifier. So anyways, let's talk about sound. So, I had high expectations because I've never heard 8 DACs in one, right? For this one. And honestly, the sound of this has a lot of character to it, okay? The best way to describe it is warm. It almost sounds like someone ran this DAC through like a tube amplifier, honestly, because when I'm listening to it, the first thing that stood out to me was how thick the bass is. It looks like they had added like almost like mid bass to it, and lower mid range just seems a lot thicker than I hear on most DACs. And then another thing I noticed about the bass was the sub bass was definitely just not as, present. It sounded a little rolled off. But the other thing as well is that because it was so thick, I feel like you almost lost some of that like quickness and speed of bass, and it sounded also less dynamic than my SMSL SU9. And then the second thing I noticed was that when it came to kind of the treble, the upper mid range, a lot of the female vocalists and even the male vocalists, they didn't come across as forward as normal. They didn't sound as like present in the mix. They kind of seemed to kind of blend in with the background, and it seemed like the treble was just not as emphasized in general. And it just felt like it lacked a lot of kind of detail that I was kind of used to. So in that way, it was a little bit warmer in general in the kind of like the way it sounded. But honestly, the other thing that just like kind of pervaded this whole thing was that it really did sound a step back in almost every way compared to a Sabre DAC, the SMSL SU9. And even I actually compared it to the topping D90 LE as well. My dad owns that DAC and we were listening to it on his speakers. And like, I could tell like straight away the differences between them. Like the D90 also sounded bigger in the sound stage, like bass hits harder, faster, there's more detail, it's quicker. It's pretty much just outperformed in every single metric of performance, to be honest. Like that's really how good it is and how, I guess, I don't want to say it's lackluster because I do think this is better than a lot of cheaper DACs and it has some good characters about it. Like I do think if you want to get a little bit more bass and a little bit more fun and a little bit smoother type of sound out of this does that really well. But compared to like the Sabre DACs, I just feel like they have so much better like detail. Like the other thing is like the separation and like even like the imaging and how kind of defined all the elements of the notes are also just better. Like I felt like everything sounded a little bit more melded together and congested on the Octo. So really it's just not that impressive to me. When you're paying like $600, you can get, you know, a Sabre DAC for $500. You can get literally the SMSL SU9 Pro. My dad has that DAC as well. And I would say that outperforms this one for $100 cheaper. For, you know, $100 more, you can just go for the Sabre version of the D70, the D70 Pro Sabre. So, you know, that's an option and it sounds better. Or obviously you can go all the way up to their kind of flagship DAC, the D90 as well, and it will sound better than this. And so for me, it kind of falls in this weird place of like, I like the screen, I like kind of the design on it, but I just feel like the DAC chip inside really does not compete against the Sabre. I think it just kind of falls behind. But at the same time, I can understand some people, you know, enjoying this type of character. It's, you know, this more kind of smoother, less like in your face type of presentation that could be enjoyable for some people as well. So if you guys are interested in any of the Sabre DAC alternatives for this one, I'll leave links to APOS down below. If you guys, you know, purchase from there, thank you for APOS for, you know, sending these out for me to, you know, do these reviews for you, as well as, you know, help supporting my channel if you guys are interested. My conclusion is the Octo has some traits that are maybe appealing to some people. It definitely has some character to it. If you like a little bit warmer, kind of a little bit more thicker type of sound, then maybe the Octo is your type of sound. However, for me, when you stack up the Octo against, you know, a Sabre DAC, even its more expensive brother, it makes you ask the question. They put 8 Circus Logic chips together to compete against one ES Sabre chip, right? And, you know, I do think it kind of falls short of that in basically every single aspect besides, you know, preference. But I do think the Sabre DAC is just a lot more better in every way. And the interesting thing too is they had to take 8 DACs just to compete against one kind of flagship DAC. But the second thing too is, if you think about it, Topping actually priced their DAC, this is $600, right? Versus their Sabre version of this is $700. So they put it in the same exact kind of chassis or the same exact case and everything. So really, I think Topping themselves probably listened to it and compared it and thought, well, the Sabre DAC is the better sounding one. That's why they priced it more expensive than this one as well. So for me, it's kind of hard to say like this is the one you should buy when there's other Sabre DACs for cheaper, around the same price, or even the same product. If you like kind of usability factor of this, for $100 more, you're getting better sound. So for me, I would probably recommend those over the Octo, unless you really just like that thicker, bassier type of sound, then maybe this one might be for you. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. I have other DAC reviews that you guys should definitely check out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.